Go ahead.
How did the dynamic change on your phone? Can you explain the way the dynamic changed once you had your quarterback in place?
I mean, he was there for about a month before he played, so I think as soon as he got there, everyone was excited. Got to the practice field, and players don't always study guys coming out of college and stuff, so they don't know exactly, and they see him on the field. I think everyone could see his arm talent right away, so there was a lot of buzz about that right when we got him, and his personality I think everyone gravitated to. I think our team started to get better in that month even before he started playing, and we got our first win in a couple weeks before he got his start, and once he got in, I think everyone knows he played very well, and the team started to get better each week after that. It wasn't that hard. Because I thought he was going into a real tough situation. So I mean, it was harder for me to pull the trigger to put him in because, you don't want to put a guy in a tough situation, and we weren't playing great at the time. And when you bring a guy who's never had the time to learn what you're doing, it's a tough position to throw him out on an NFL field. So we were trying to wait as long as possible, and I think we waited long enough.
Does having Jimmy G under contract now, having quarterback accelerate your expectations at all? This was the year when you set this goal and things like that?
No, not at all. We were hoping that we would have our quarterback by our second year, so I think it's gone as planned. You'd like to get it the first day you got somewhere, but that's not as easy as everyone might think it is. But we got him and we feel great. I think it's nice going into free agency in the draft that we feel pretty good about our quarterback room, but it's just part of the process, and we got to keep adding a lot.
What did C.J. Beathard do for you in the interim, and what is his future, not only in your team, but
I think CJ's got a great future in this league. I think he had a great opportunity this year. I earned a lot of respect for him. I think our teammates did too. He got thrown into a situation that it would have been much better for him to wait too. It would have been much more ideal for him not to get thrown in that fire, earlier than he should have. But that was the situation we're in. He didn't. He rose to the occasion. He competed every week. Sometimes when you put rookies in a little bit too early, they can lose their confidence and things like that. But CJ didn't. I think he, even through his ups and downs when he did play, he gained confidence, and I think he got better each week, and I think that was a very valuable experience for him that someday he'll get his opportunity again, whether it's injury or whenever that time happens. But I think CJ has a very good future in this league.
Belichick chose Jimmy's destination. What's the answer to the question, why the 49ers?
I don't know if he chose his destination, but he gave us a chance to get him, and we strongly appreciated that. But you'd have to ask him that. I don't know. We just talk, and it was a heck of an opportunity for us, so we didn't want to pass at that.
For different timetables, can you just confirm sort of when you guys started targeting him and how those got evolved last season?
Last year when we came here, we were looking at all. When we got to San Francisco, we didn't have, after Colin opted out, we didn't have a quarterback on the roster, so we had to add a bunch of guys. And you look into all free agent possibilities, you look into draft possibilities, and you look into trade possibilities. And Jimmy was one of those guys going into last year of his contract that I think everybody knew there was a trade possibility, especially with the starting quarterback they had there. So we looked into that just like every other situation, and they weren't interested at all early on. At this time last year, I don't think they were later, and I think they became a lot more realistic right before the trade deadline. I think that pushes a lot of teams to have to make certain decisions, and I think they tried to hold on to it as long as possible. But a few days before the trade deadline, it came up, and I think they had to make a move to help their team and their future, and fortunately, it helped us also.
Tyler, when you tried versatility with running backs, do you prefer to have different guys for different roles at running back and fullback, or would you have a future guy?
It doesn't matter. I mean, you can't just pick. So you deal with whatever the situation is. And if you can have a Hall of Fame guy who can do absolutely everything, we're not just going to rotate him because we prefer to rotate people. That guy's going to stay out there because he can do everything, and he stays fresh and it works. If you don't have a guy like that and you do it by committee, you do it by committee. I look at running backs, receivers, tight ends. They're all interchangeable. And if guys have a dynamic trait, you feature that. If they have a bunch of dynamic traits, they can stay out there in a lot more situations.
Well, Coach, speaking of, what do you make of the season that Marquise Goodwin had, and do you view him as
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Marquise, I mean, that's kind of what we expected him to do what we brought him there to do. I think everyone knows his elite speed that he has, and that's something that was very attractive to us, something that always excited to watching him come out of college. And we looked in the whole free agency pool of receivers, and he had an extremely elite trait and speed that we thought would be very important for offense. And Marquise also has a lot of other stuff he could bring to the table. Once you can show people that speed and stuff, it's a lot easier to get open on underneath routes too, because everyone's scared to be running by him. And I think Marquise hadn't been put in those situations a ton in his career. He's always been a deep guy, and he went through some ups and downs with that throughout the year. Going through some experience, getting some reps that he hasn't had before. And like I was saying with CJ, like we threw Marquise in some tough positions that he hadn't done before, and he rose to the occasion, and he got better each game. And I thought the best he was playing was at the end of the year.